Alright, welcome to Beers and Gears. This is a bonus episode. Last time you were here I had the full crew here and we were turning this Harley Davidson Sportster into a dirt bike. We've got that project on hold for a little bit while I look out for some pressing issues, stuff that I got to get straightened away. Got a lot of messages in the inbox about this particular machine, which I showed you a couple of episodes ago. This is a chopper by a company called Big Bear Choppers. These choppers are kind of like the mullet of the motorcycle club or the motorcycle world. I mean, you know, it wasn't too long ago you either had one or you wanted one. But now they're after going out of style. But every time you see one, you really look at it with admiration. So this is the mullet of the motorcycle world, in my opinion. They're still cool bikes. Let me tell you a little bit about it. You can see the width of the rear tire. This is a 300 rear tire, which means it's 300 millimeters wide. It really takes a big set of balls to ride these bikes, because when these bikes are going down the road, they don't want to turn. So you really got to lean into the turns to get these things to handle, as you can tell. Dirt on the tire wants to stand up straight. One of the other things about this bike that's important is this engine. This is an Evolution style engine. Harley Davidson Evo style engines came out with 80 cubic inches to start with. This is 124 cubic inches. This engine has about 120 horsepower. This thing will pull the arms right out of your sockets. This is a big expensive engine that they got in here, and it's a real beast. Something else that's cool about these bikes. This is a transmission, one of the best transmissions you can get on the market, by a company called Baker. It's a Baker 6-speed transmission. It's a big dollar transmission, real reliable machine, and can handle the high horsepower that an engine like a 124 puts out. Interesting thing about the Baker, you notice on Harley Davidson's only the Sportsters are right side drives. This is a Baker right side drive, so this bike is driven on the right side. Check out the chain. Harley Davidsons are driven by belts. This thing's got a chain drive, so there's no stretch or anything like that, and that makes it more reliable to take all the torque out of this big engine, get it into that transmission, and get it to the rear wheel and get it on the ground. If you come around the other side and have a look at this bike, I'll show you something else. Now, this is one of my favorite things about this bike. Most Harley Davidsons are belt driven, but you don't see the belt. The belt is covered in by the primary, and it's only a 1-inch belt. This is a BDL, Belt Drive Limited is the name of the company. It's a 3-inch belt, and it's an open belt, which means it's out there for the whole world to see, and it's got a dry clutch. This is really good for big power bikes. I love them. I've built several of them. Now, they do chew up the back of your pant leg when you're riding around, doing any amount of riding, but you know, I've often thought about actually putting one of these on my bagger. That's how much I love open belts. So the other big thing about these choppers is the length. I don't know, this is 9.5 feet long. Now that's another reason why the bike doesn't like to turn, likes to go straight. And you know, I don't know, it might not be in fashion right now, but it's a really, really cool bike. So why is it here, or why is it on my ramp half scrapped? Well, the gentleman who owns this bike has a problem. After about a half hour, the bike shuts off on him. I haven't been able to determine what's going on with it yet, because when it came in, the starter died on the bike. And unfortunately for the customer, and I guess somewhat for myself, it's a major job to just change the starter on this bike. To get the starting motor off, you got to take the oil tank out. To take the oil tank out, you actually have to loosen your rear wheels. That means slide it ahead to give you enough plane or chain to get the oil tank out. And of course, take the oil tank out, all the electronics have to be let go, and the battery has to come out. In order to do that, the seat has to come off, and on this bike, in order to do that, fuel tank has to come off. So they're quite expensive to work on. Not everybody likes working on them, but I'm after building a bunch and working on a bunch, so I'm fairly familiar with the machines. But yeah, you know what? They're not in fashion right now, but they're really, really cool bikes, and they're fun to ride, and they got power like you wouldn't believe, and they're crazy, crazy loud. So maybe I'll do another extra episode once this thing is all back together and running, and you can have a look and listen to it. Thanks for the messages in the inbox, appreciate it. And stay tuned, because our next episode, we'll be back to the dirt hog, wiping out the cool and putting in the dirt. So for Beers and Gears Extra, that's it.